viral. Steelers wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster left USC early for the NFL draft. Now, in the offseason, he's back on campus taking classes. Take a look.
I thought this was a Photoshop.
Hey, y'all gotta start doing the readings.
You want to come up here?
All gifts.
Say what you want to say.
So my mom told me to come back to school. You have the mic?
You don't need the mic.
Oh, okay. So my mom told me to come back to school, and so pretty much this is my first day. I'm here, and I heard you're one of the best professors in town, and I love to debate. This is why I'm here, and Gucci gang, Gucci gang. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Have a nice day. Hey, Gucci TV.
How about Juju?
Man,
Pads?
I like Juju. Juju's done some good celebrations, but this is the most millennial look-at-me thing I have ever seen I'm not trying to be the old man yelling at a cloud, but give me a break. I thought, can we show that picture right there? I thought, because I hadn't seen this clip, I thought that was a Photoshop. I didn't think Juju actually showed up to campus full uniform. And then, Cece, that professor didn't seem totally thrilled to have him there. Say what you want to say.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want him in the class either. But rumor has it, I got a source. My source tells me he go to class more now as a Steeler than he did as a Trojan.
I buy it. I do buy that. Juju Smith-Schuster. I liked the video when his mom was yelling at him.
Oh, that was good.
Sweep that porch.
Yeah, absolutely.
You ain't no NFL player in here.
I need him to concentrate on being a great wide receiver, though.
Oh, okay.
Because that's hard enough.
Okay. Time for some stories to start your morning. According to reports, Drew Brees and the Saints will discuss a new deal at the Combine. Brees is not under contract for the 2018 season. However, all indications are that he'll be back in the Big Easy next season. CC, Brees is 39. Has he shown any signs of slowing down?
I'm not going to take anything away from the Eagles, but if it hadn't been for a miracle, Philadelphia did not want to see Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Like, Drew Brees has not slowed down, all right? The rumors of his demise are over-exaggerated. Drew Brees, Nick Wright has told us, quarterbacks can play at 40. Right, Nick Wright?
Exactly right. I mean, I never doubted it. I do find it interesting that it's surprising to me that Drew Brees, where he's going to go, is not more of a story. He's the best quarterback to hit free agency healthy in years, which tells me everyone knows. So, like, Drew Brees isn't trying to play the Saints for leverage. Like, hey,
no.
You know what I mean? Cleveland would want me. The Jets would want me. He might be able to squeeze them for a few extra dollars if he let his agent do that. Pretend, at least, there was real competition. Everyone knows he's going back to New Orleans, and he'll continue to be great because old quarterbacks still got it. I've been trying to tell you that, CC.
More information.
Broncos quarterback Trevor Siemian is reportedly on the trading block. Denver also owns the 5th overall pick in the draft, and Von Miller has been actively campaigning for Kirk Cousins. Lots of options here. Nick, what should the Broncos do with their QB situation?
Man, old, young, middle-aged Trevor Siemian's not getting it done, but amazingly, Trevor Siemian's the best quarterback they have on that roster. Like, Paxton Lynch is not an NFL player. Brock Osweiler's been just given away by a couple of teams.
Tall for no reason.
We're tall for no reason. Wasting that height on someone that could have used it.
He should have been playing the NBA.
And so Trevor Siemian, like, if they get rid of him, they will have lost their best quarterback. When Trevor Siemian's your best quarterback, you got some issues. So what should they do? Ask John Elway who they should draft at 5 and just draft someone else. Because John Elway has shown no ability to figure out this position except when Peyton Manning falls in your lap.
Well, I'm surprised that they were trying to trade him. I'm surprised they didn't try to bundle all of them. Like all 3 of the bums that they have at quarterback, who Elway done messed up on, and just trade them away. I don't care what they're going to get for them, draft picks. I mean, get me some Bitcoin or something. Just get me something for them, because they ain't worth a whole bunch. You can't trade something that you're trying to give away.
You Frankenstein's monstered this thing, and you took the best attribute of each of the 3 quarterbacks, like Osweiler's height.
I'd still rather take Elway. An old Elway limping. Bow-legged and everything, limping out there like John Wayne. I'll take Elway.
Time for an Olympic update. Team USA Women's Hockey beat Canada. Look at that. To bring home the Olympic gold for the first time since 1998. The game ended in a thrilling shootout with a goal by Jocelyn Lamoureux. Nick, how excited were you for Team USA?
Man, this is great. I'm not going to pretend like I'm an international women's hockey expert. However, once I saw this, I did a little research. Team USA hadn't won the gold since 98. I always just kind of assume our women's team sports are at the top of the world because we have such, because Title IX, we have great women's sports at the youth level in this country.
You think, Nick.
And so, well, no, that's my assumption. But Canada's been killing us since 98. They won the gold every single Olympics. So this was awesome. And the Euro step to the hockey, to the ice.
Yes.
Evidently, it's called a triple deke. I call it a Euro step. Bat, bat, bat. Gold medal. I liked it.
Triple D. Okay. Very good. You know what I like here is the upset. I mean, this is the biggest upset in Olympic history in a long, long time. Great win for our women.
All right, tonight, the NBA is back, and the new look Cavs are hosting the Wizards. Cleveland has won 4 straight, and LeBron is averaging 30 points, 9.5 rebounds, and 13 assists over that stretch. Cece, what are you looking for tonight from the Cavs?
Well, I look for them to make some adjustments. I don't look for them just to try to pick up where they left before the All-Star break. Interesting, in yesterday's practice, Ty Lue said that in these remaining games, instead of them having shoot-around, they will have structured practices. So that is news coming from an NBA team that we know, you know, and following and covering the team, that these are just basically just walkthroughs, checking to make sure guys hadn't been hanging out too late, and making sure that they're getting.
Thomas told us they didn't have a practice all year.
Right. Yeah. So now we know that they are serious about making some adjustments. For me, it's about the subs. What are their roles? What are the defined roles? And watch Larry Nance Jr. Watch him become more of an impact player, especially energy and on the defensive end.
LeBron's probably got a great shot, or definitely has a great shot, I should say, of Eastern Conference Player of the Month in February. I want to see if LeBron can continue this great pace he's had since it really started right before the trade deadline for LeBron. It was the Wednesday before the game where he hit the game winner against the Timberwolves. He found out that day the moves were coming. He all of a sudden looked like, well, the LeBron we saw the first 2 months of the year, because while the 1 seed's probably out of reach, getting to the 2 line, having a better likelihood of avoiding Milwaukee in round 1, those are achievable goals even with Kevin Love out. So I'm watching to see if LeBron keeps up, if the new Cavs keep it up.
The Kawhi Leonard saga, it's taken another turn. Despite being medically clear to return, head coach Greg Popovich says he'd be surprised if Kawhi returns this season. Nick, what impact does this have on the entire Western Conference?
It removes a contender. Just period, point blank. Like, Cece, you mentioned it earlier, and it's very simplistic, but it's absolutely right. There's not a team in the NBA, much like what I thought was the case with Carson Wentz and the Eagles. You can't lose the MVP and still win a championship.
Yes.
Turns out in the NFL you can. But in the NBA...
Yeah, you can support the quarterback enough that the player, you can overcome that huge loss.
But in the NBA you can't.
No.
Pick any team in the league and remove their best player, and whatever their ceiling was, drop it down about 3 grades. So New Orleans Pelicans, I don't know if Boogie's their best player, but he's neck and neck with Anthony Davis. Their ceiling was probably their absolute ceiling, Western Conference Finals. So now it all of a sudden becomes first round and out. The Spurs' ceiling was championship. Now it probably is second round and out. The same would be the case, by the way, same might have been the case for Boston. Like, if Gordon Hayward was their best player, what was their ceiling? Make the NBA Finals. Now it's Eastern Conference Finals at best. If the Rockets lost James Harden, obviously if the Cavs lost LeBron, that's what this is for the Spurs. So you just have 1 fewer contender. In a year where we don't have a ton of contenders, if Kawhi doesn't come back, now it's not official he's not come back, but if he doesn't come back, you can cross off the Spurs.
Right. What it does is it makes the first and second round matchups a lot easier. It eats away at the depth of the Western Conference. And from a style standpoint, they are the only team that has tried to attack Golden State in this era with height. The other teams, they try to get up and down with them. They try to play pace and space. Let's shoot the threes. Let's match them there. Let's run them off the three-point line. No, man, they bang the ball inside. You know, the Paul Gasol and their other big people.
Marcus Aldridge.
I mean, and they wear away and they kill them on the board. So those are things that have posed problems for Golden State that now that they wouldn't have to face with that height and one of the best players in the world who can match Durant on the offense and the defensive end. So it's a big loss to the Western Conference and the NBA.
Yeah, well, moving on. The NBA Commissioner, Adam Silver, he's caused a lot of buzz this past week. He said he's open to changing the NBA's playoff format to seed the top 16 teams regardless of conference. While a lot of people have been excited about the possible changes, LeBron James seems a bit hesitant. Take a listen.
I think our league has been built the right way as far as when it comes to the postseason. There's been dominant conferences throughout time. It's cool to mess around with an all-star game. You know, we proved that you could do that, but let's not get too crazy about the playoffs.
CeCe, what's your reaction to LeBron's comments?
I'm not surprised by LeBron, and LeBron is right. There have been conferences in basketball, in baseball, in football that, yes, they have been dominant. But should we change all the rules? Can we just forget about that, you know, that we are a country of time zones, and more than half of the people live in the Eastern Conference time zone? So if you happen to remove the Eastern Conference from the semifinals and the finals based on teams, like, what are we doing as a viewership? I'm sure that their partners, ESPN, I'm sure that TNT, I'm sure that they wouldn't be happy with that if you removed all those viewers, all those TV sets for potential ratings going forward. So I believe it's beyond what's actually happening on the court. But I do believe the NBA has done a great job as far as being open, being very progressive as far as the things that they would do. Yeah, they make great strides as far as changing the All-Star game. But when you're trying to change the seeding from East to West, and LeBron makes a great point. Over a period of time, there have been but the West hasn't dominated the East. They've won 3 out of the last 4 because San Antonio won, the Spurs have won 2, and then the Cavs won 1. But if you look at over the years,
Since LeBron's coming in the league, this is his 15th year, so there have been 14 champions. 6 have been from the East, 8 have been from the West. So obviously, ideally, it'd be 7-7, but that's as close as you can get without it being exactly even.
and you've had teams that go on dominant runs, that being San Antonio and Golden State in that same window.
And what the NBA is trying to do is at least creak this door open in case LeBron goes out.
Start the conversation.
Right, in case LeBron goes out West, and in case some of the young stars out East don't turn into what we think they can. Like, the East is positioned better for 2022 than the West is, right? You have Giannis.
Yes.
You have Embiid and Simmons on the same team. You have Kyrie and Jason Tatum on the same team. You have Kristaps Porzingis on. All those guys are out East. Like, the best young players in basketball are out East. The best veteran players are out West, aside from LeBron. But I do think the Western Conference dominance has been overstated, only because the recency bias of Golden State. Golden State is on as good of a run, despite not having the three-peat, but just regular season combined with the playoff success. It's as good of a run as we've seen in modern NBA history. And that, I think, has clouded our mind for how good some of the teams in the East have been over the last decade. The Detroit Pistons ended the Lakers' run. And then they took the team that had beaten the Lakers the year before, San Antonio, the next year to 7 games. The Pistons went to 2 NBA Finals, won one of them. The Boston Celtics were a team that prevented Kobe's and Pal's Lakers from having a three-peat. They beat the Lakers on the front end and then took them to a Game 7 on the back end. People say, oh, but the East hasn't had a team like, think about that Thunder team that made the NBA Finals. The East has had that team. It was the 60-win Bulls.
Yeah, they just didn't finish it out.
With Derrick Rose.
Yes.
By the way, that team lost to the same team the Thunder did. It's just LeBron. It was LeBron. I mean,
yes.
The reason the East has felt disproportionate to the West is because the same guy's been there. But he's been there with 2 different franchises. Like, there are other teams. Would we think more fondly of the Paul George, Roy Hibbert Pacers? Had they made an NBA Finals? Well, they would have. But LeBron was there. Like, LeBron's been the stumbling block here, which is why I understand the NBA is a little nervous if LeBron were to go out West.
We know the reverence LeBron has for the history of the game, the history of the NBA. CeCe, as a player, if something was altered to change how you would get a title in your sport, something of that significance, how would you feel about that? is a player.
Well, the thing about it, is it best for the league? I'm willing to go through changes. We see that in the NFL as far as the rules, the bump and run for wide receivers, the catch, no catch rule. Is the game easier? Is it easier to catch the ball now than ever before? With technology, yes. But is it better? I'm willing to sacrifice something right now if it's going to help the game be better. And we don't know in 5 years if that's actually better for the game. So if it was better for the game, I'm all about making the game better for the players and for the fans who consume the product. But we cannot prove that this, over the long haul, will be better than the system that we have in place now.
And I'm all for forward thinking, and I'm all for trying to figure out, okay, if this happens, what do we do? But one part that has not been discussed, when people, because I think a lot of people here, yeah, give me the 16 best teams. Yeah, just give me a true 1 through 16 bracket. Well, then you do have to change how you're currently scheduling in the league. Right now, you play 4 games a year, essentially, from teams in your own conference, 2 games a year, teams in the West.
You definitely have to change.
But if we're saying the West is so much better, and now all of a sudden the Pelicans are competing with the Pistons for a playoff spot, Pelicans are going to say, well, hold on. We play the Rockets and Warriors 8 times this year.
Yeah, 4 times collectively. Yes.
Then all of a sudden it's got to be you play every team in the league 3 times. Then the travel becomes even a bigger. There are.
Yeah, the regular season travel is probably more complicated than the postseason travel.
The butterfly effect of doing this, while it sounds really good, and they might do it, and if LeBron goes out west, they might have to do it. But the butterfly effect is more substantial than just, oh, it's simple, seed them 1 through 16.
What ends up happening is the same thing. We're going to have Danny Cannell coming on, but the same thing happened in college football. Oh, we want a playoff. Oh, now you got a playoff with 4 teams. Now what do people want? Nick Wright, 8 teams, 10 teams, 12 teams. Like, you're never going to get it
Some
right.
of us always wanted 8 teams. It's the obvious solution. You have your 5 conference champions, your 3 wild cards. It's a mid-major wins. It goes undefeated. They get in. I'm just letting
Coming
you know
up,
it works.
does LeVar Jackson need to make the
And you
move
wonder
to
why
wide
Mangini
receiver?
fired
That is next on First Things First.
You hired me.
Fire him.
You hired me to be the capologist. He fired me.
He fired
But
my
I gave more power to the coach.
Man, that's a
Coach.
Hello, welcome to the Best Western Plus. I'm checking in.